everybody, can we make some noise out there? Can we do it? Can we make it louder? Louder! Oh, that's the spirit. There's life in you. 30 minutes on the clock. Look at this score. 84 for the visiting Motor City Madams. It has been officially adjusted to 100 points for your Nickel City Roller Derby. Nichols and Dames starting off Wonder Woman number 22 in black, starting her helmet out there to jam for Nickel City, but fighting her way through as the lead jammer, number 93. That's Ty Keela in purple for Durham Region. Natitude 14-14, putting a big hit on Wonder Woman, sending her back in the pack. Wonder Woman again, your lead jammer, but fighting her way through. Ty Keela, number 93 in black. Jamming out there right now for Durham Region Roller Derby. Looks like Smashley, number 16 for Nickel City, is going to head to the penalty box. Hip check Liddell, 705 in black, putting a big hit on Ty Keela. That forces her to call the jam.
And welcome to the second half of Flat Track Roller Derby here at the Carmichael Arena. If you're just joining us, we still got lots of derby to come. 100 to 90, the lead for the Nichols and Dames from Nickel City. And if you're just joining us, one thing to keep in mind, skaters with the stars on their helmet, for every opposing player they pass, they will take a point for their team after the first pass. So they get through the players first, then they start scoring. Watch those players with the stars.
Red hot. Shifting pack, trying to put the stop out there. Looks like Bits and Bites got a really big hit there on Wonder Woman, sending her back in the pack, but she fights her way back up and through, threading the needle. Sorry, it's Red Hot, number 2. Red Hot, your lead jammer. Number 2 in black for the Nichols and Dames. Red Hot again, threading the needle, coming through turn number 2. Big pile up. Cherry Bomb taken down hard on the straightaway. Cherry Bomb 0260 out there jamming for Durham Region and fighting her way through. Red Hot slices through that pack on turns 3 and 4. Red Hot, number 2 in black, your lead jammer right now for Nickel City. And it looks like we do have a star pass. The pivot is now the jammer, your new jammer for the Durham Region Roller Derby Motor City Madams. Number 1217 is Wicked Wench. But before Wicked can catch the pack, Red Hot calls the jam.
And once again, we've seen what we call a star pass. We told you to keep your eyes on the skaters that have the stars on their helmets. They're the jammers, the ones scoring points. If you're the star jammer and you are tired or you can't get through, you can take the star off your helmet, pass it to the player with the stripe on their helmet. That person becomes the new jammer. Definitely gives a revitalization to the group.
5, Toughest Bale is going to do the honors in black for Nickel City. We do have a timeout called on the track. Looks like the officials are getting together, possibly to discuss dinner plans or the after party tonight, which will be at Little Montreal downtown. I'm hoping there's karaoke. Karaoke's fun. Karaoke's, actually, it is kind of awesome. Come on down to Little Montreal, see the players and the refs, tell them what you think. It's okay to be, brutally honest at times. And get up there and sing some karaoke. Enjoy some refreshments. Little Montreal downtown. You'll identify it easily by all the derby skaters standing right outside.
And a quick timeout happening. The officials can call a timeout, but teams can also call timeouts. Each team is allowed 3 timeouts per game and 1 official review per half to challenge a question or something the refs have said or done.
Fight to the win to the inside. Duchess of Carnage sent into the track. Veruca Salter putting a big hit there on Duchess of Carnage. We got whistles galore coming. And we do have a lead jammer coming out of turn number 2 In black, wearing the 515 of Nickel City Roller Derby. That is Tough as Bales. A whole assortment of players trying to make their way to the box. We got a bit of a mess out there. A lot of purple rotating through. Duchess of Carnage fighting her way through the pack. Number 1331 in purple out there jamming star in her helmet for Durham Region right now. And, of course, 515 in black is Tough as Bales for Nickel City. Huge spill going down there. Tough as Bales going down. Veruca Salter going down pretty hard. Bobby Gore also going down. And we got the jam called. Hopefully everybody is all right. Bobby Gore, Tough as Bales, and Veruca Salter going down hard in front of the benches.
Yeah, these ladies take huge hits and huge falls sometimes, but they get right back up. This is a very physical game, and it's also very strategic, you'll notice. Lots of ducking, lots of toe stops. They get up on their toes, and they start getting around blockers. It's very tactical, strategic, and like I said, physical. It's not just like old derby where it's all about hitting. It's everything balled into one.
Spin Helly, 101 in purple for Durham Region. And fighting her way around and becoming lead jammer out of turn number 2. 56 for Nickel City. That is Mel Behaved. Back awfully spread out there. Players in and out of the penalty box. I think that's Malice in Wonderland serving in some time for Nickel City. Mel Behaved fighting her way through the pack. Number 56 in black. Your lead jammer out there right now for Nickel City. Spin Helly pushed to the inside by Booty Boop. Karma Scurria trying to get a piece of Booty as Booty skates back to make things difficult. Spin Helly sent to the outside. Looks like Booty Boop got another big hit there. Booty Boop 77 in black. For Nickel City, Mel Behaved keeping an even rhythm around the track. Karma Scurria trying to put the hit but does not stop. Mel Behaved, number 56 in black out there jamming right now for Nickel City. Spin Helly sent to the outside. Spin Helly 101 in purple. For Durham Region's Motor City Madams. Crush going down hard, and that is going to send number 13, Rainbow Bright, to the penalty box for Durham Region. And it looks like we might have had a star pass. No, we don't. Spin Helly still out there jamming, but there it is. A full one, a long one. A lot of players in and out of the box, but it looks like Nickel City might have got the better of that one.
Now, Mel Behaved from the Nichols and Dames able to take 24 points that jam. As we've been saying, the score is never set who's winning, who's losing, because one jam can add huge numbers of points. We talked about, too, the lead jammer. If you're just joining us, we said watch for the skaters with the stars on their helmet. For every opposing player's hips that they pass, they're going to add a point to their team score. Now, something to consider, if you're the first jammer through the pack, the first skater with the star on your helmet, you are the lead jammer. You'll see the official throw a big L in the air, and they'll point just like this. Hey, yeah, now you can see me. Now, what that means is they are the only player who's able to call off the jam. When they want to end the jam, take their hands, they throw it to their hips, and that ends the jam. They can do that if they want to make sure the other team doesn't get any more points. If they want to make sure that they can get as many as possible, then call it off so that they can get the total number of points. Or maybe they're just tired and they just don't want to keep fighting. Lots of reasons why you might call off the jam. Now, we also saw, too, aside from some wonderful dancing going on the track, we talked about earlier, by the way, that this game is very, very hard-hitting, physical, and strategic, but also it's a lot of fun. In between jams, people are having fun. So if you ever want to take part in this fun game, but also very, very physical and hard game, be sure to go to NCRD.ca, and you can find out about Nickel City Roller Derby. And we saw, too, in the last jam, actually quite a few penalties for forearm penalties. You cannot hit an opposing player with your elbow, your forearm, or your fist. That will send you to the penalty box. And we also saw something called a destruction penalty. You see all the blockers, they're always staying tight together in a group because they have to stay together as a pack. We call it a pack. If they start getting too far apart, the purple team, let's say, moves too far forward, the black team moves too far back, that's a no pack. If you caused that no pack to happen, you're going to get a penalty. So blockers want to stay together. And like I said, we also saw that the jammers have the ability to take the star off their helmets and give it to a player that has a stripe on their helmet to change the jammer in the game. And like we said, that gives you the ability to kind of revitalize who the jammer is, especially if they've been working very hard. We also talked about, too, the number of timeouts and official reviews. that a team has. So this is actually an official review that's going on right now. And what that means is one of the teams has a question about one of the calls that the officials made. They're going to question it. It may get reversed, it may not. If the officials decide to reverse what they said before, the team will actually keep their official review and get to use it again in the same half. If, however, they question the officials stick to what they said before, the team loses their official review and cannot use one again in this half. However, we also mentioned that both teams do have 3 timeouts per game that they can use at any time. A lot of times strategically at the end, they'll use them to stop the clock to make sure they can get a few more jams in or to take a break as well. And this is the official review. We'll see whether or not they get to keep or lose that official review.
52 points between these teams. We got Wonder Woman, number 22, at the jam on the track, starting her helmet in black for Nickel City, but fighting her way through. Your lead jammer in purple for the Motor City Madams. Wearing the 12-17, it is Wicked Wench. Wonder Woman, number 22, out there jamming again in black for Nickel City. Wicked Wench fighting with the outside. Hip check Liddell forcing Wicked Wench to call that jam coming out of turn number 2.
And yet another strategic move by the opposing jammer. If you're worried that the other jammer coming in is going to get some points, even if you've only got, it looks like their Motor City had about 2 points under her belt, saw the opposing jammer come, said, you know what, I'm going to call off this jam and make sure she doesn't get any more than the 1 point she got. Offensive and defensive at the same time.
If you want to be my... no, we got Red Hot, number 2, out there to jam in black, starting her helmets. She is your lead jammer coming out of turn number 2. Red Hot in black, number 2 for the Nickels and Dames, and fighting way through the pack, jamming right now for Motor City in purple. That is the Duchess of Carnage, 13-31. Red Hot slicing through the pack. And before the Duchess of Carnage can catch up, she's going to call that jam. No points coming in from Durham.
And just a quick little toe-stops. We talked about how it is not only about hitting hard, it's about being strategic and being able to just get up on your toes and tiptoe past the other blockers is just amazing. It's agility. That is a huge part of roller derby nowadays. And jammer gets through, takes her 4 points, calls off the jam. 4 for her, none for the other.
Tykeela, number 93, sent down in the pack. She is jamming in purple for Durham Region, but fighting her way through, your lead jammer, 101 in black for Nickel City Roller Derby. That is crushed. Tykeela fighting her way through the pack. That pack trying to get it together out there. Tykeela, number 93 in purple, jamming right now, starring her helmet for Durham Region. Mel Behaved, trying to push Natitude to the outside. Crush sent for a spin and down, calls the jam. Number 87, Siren, out there ending that one for Durham Region.
And something we just saw there, if you've just kind of joined us and you're still learning all about the Kens and Can-Nots in Derby, we just had a track cut penalty. What you can't do is if you're knocked out of play by another blocker, you cannot come back into play in front of her. You have to come in behind her. She's actually now asserted her position. If you come in front of somebody who knocked you out, you're going to get a track cut penalty. Don't do that.
It's Wonder Woman, number 22 in black, back out there to jam, starting a helmet for Nickel City. Wicked Wench, 12-17, doing the honors in purple. But your lead jammer coming out of turns 1 and 2 in black for Nickel City Roller Derby. That is Wonder Woman, number 22. 12-17 in purple again. That is Wicked Wench out there jamming, starting her helmet for Durham Region. Hits and bites, 11-01, putting a hit out there on Wonder Woman, trying to slow her down, and it does enough for Wicked Wench to catch up, and Wonder Woman to call that jam coming into turn 3. Hits and bites, employing some heavy defense out there.
And something very interesting that we saw from Wonder Woman, the jammer for the Nickels and Dames, and I've played with Wonder Woman. She does this to me all the time. Remember, if the jammer's hips pass an opposing player's hips, she gets that point. So sometimes the skaters will do something very agile. They will turn around, they'll throw their hips out behind them, and just sneak their hips past the person. Technically, they haven't skated past that blocker, but her hips did, and therefore she'll get her points. It is a very, very hard thing to see coming, and it's a very easy way to take a whole lot of points if your hips can just sneak out in front of all those other blockers. Very, very cool, and if you are a blocker and that happens to you, you're going to hate it when it does. We did have a timeout being called, it looks like, by Motor City. Again, each team allowed 3 timeouts per game. They will lose this one timeout to take a little bit of a break with 20 minutes left in the second half. Looks like we have the Nichols and Dames up 157-98. Still anyone's game, though, with another jam starting.
And here we go, Pat keeping it tight again in front of the benches. It's a slow roll out there. Bodies down coming out of turn number 1. Looks like Rambo Bright is among them, number 13, as tough as Bales. But back up and fighting her way through, your lead jammer, 515 in black. For Nickel City, it is tough as Bales. We got a couple of Motor City Madams in the penalty box. Bobby Gore trying to get by Geo Hazard, number 46 in red hot. And while Bobby Gore sends them down, she also ends up out of the track, back at it. And again, tough as Bales, 515, your lead jammer in black right now for Nickel City. Hits and bites, 11:01 out there. And it looks like we got more trouble. I believe that's the Duchess of Carnage, 13:31, heading to the penalty box. And Rambo Bright tried, but failed to stop Tough as Bales. Tough as Bales comes out of turn number 2, calls the jam.
Tough as Bales, we told you that the jammers can get a point for every opposing blocker that they passed. You also, remember, can get a point by lapping the opposing jammer. That can give you up to 5 points per cycle every time you go around. So you can multiply 5 by 5 by 5 by 5, and sometimes that can just really change the game. One jam can do it all.
The inside, Mel Behave, number 56 out there jamming right now, and she is now the lead jammer, 56 in black. Mel Behaved of Nickel City. That was right after Natitude put a big hit on her. Spin Heli sent to the outside by Booty Boop. That's going to force her back. Spin Heli, number 101 out there jamming in purple for Durham Region. Heavy pack coming through turn number 4. And it looks like we might have a change of jammer coming for Durham Region. We have a new jammer for Durham Region. It's the pass of the star to Duchess of Carnage, 13:31. But before Duchess can catch up to the pack, Mel Behave calls the jam.
Now, something we saw in the last jam, too, a penalty we haven't seen yet in the game, is a back block penalty. There are certain places you cannot hit another player. One is directly along the spine. You can't hit them right on the spine or right in the lower spine. That's going to be a back block, and you'll get a penalty for that. You also can't hit a player in the face or below the knee. Those are no zones. Back to the game.
Off we go, 12-17. Wicked Wench is your lead jammer coming through turn number 1. 12-17 in purple for Durham Region Roller Derby's Motor City Madams. That is a Wicked Wench. Down to one knee and back at it after some contact with Wonder Woman coming out of turn number 1. We got Hexadecimal and Hip Check Liddell trying to put pressure on Wicked Wench. Smashley trying to go in. Wicked Wench down to her knees and right back up at it. Smashley having a go. And we do have a penalty now. That's going to send Wicked Wench to the box. Their jammer, Wicked Wench, 12-17, head of the penalty box. And we do have a jammer out there now for Nickel City wearing 22 in black. It is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman fight to the inside, getting past Cherry Bomb on turn number 2. Block is trying to keep it tight out there. Smasher trying to make some room. Wonder Woman to the right of the inside. Effin' Lucifer almost catching her coming through that pack. Effin' Lucifer, number 666 in purple out there blocking right now for Motor City. Smasher trying to make some room. F and Lucifer, Sneaky D, keeping an eye on things out there. Hip check Liddell giving a rough ride to Wicked Wench. And Hip check Liddell is going to go to the penalty box after some of that contact with Wicked Wench. Wicked Wench 12-17 out there jamming right now for Durham Reach. And we have Cherry Bomb down and back up again, 2-6-0, putting the heavy hits on Wonder Woman. F and Lucifer doing what she can, but Wonder Woman getting by. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, a full jam.
And there you go, a full 2-minute jam. The longest a jam can go is for 2 minutes. If nobody calls off the jam, the lead jammer doesn't do that, or there is no lead jammer, they will go for a full 2 minutes. And that is hard to do because the skating, the hitting, it takes so much out of you. Also, you may have noticed that Demolition actually lost a toe stop, that thing that lets her stop on the front of her skates. Doesn't end the game. You keep playing unless it's a danger to somebody, so she had to pass the star. Unfortunate, it does happen.
But fighting her way through, your lead jammer, the veteran Mozilla, 88 in purple for the Motor City Madams. Duchess of Carnage trying to make some room out there, going in against Tough as Bales. Mozilla forced the outside, and that's going to result in a call of the jam.
Once again, taking that 1 point, Motor City taking 1 point, calling off the jam, trying to avoid Nickel City taking any points. However, the Nickel City jammer was able to sneak in that 1 point. Again, once the jam is called off, there will be 4 whistles blown at the same time. Once those 4 whistles are done, you can't score any more points. So get your points in before the whistles go. Next, starting off.
Full compliment on the track. Nobody in the penalty box right now. Ty Keela, number 93 in purple, doing the honors, jamming star on her helmet for Durham Region. Tia Ironass sending Ty Keela back in the pack. Hard hit coming in there on 101. Crush. But she is your lead jammer wearing the 101 in black for the Nickel City Roller Derby Nichols and Dames. It is Crush. Some slick skating here. Trying to fight her way through. Malice in Wonderland and Booty Boop trying to put a stop to Ty Keela. Ty Keela hanging tough out there. Natitude 14-14 getting a huge hit in on Crush. Sending her outside the track. And who else but Karma Screwy in on the action out there. Number 252 in purple. And before any more can be done, seeing that wall, Crush calls the jam.
So only 1 point scored by the Nichols and Dames on that jam. It does make the total 199 for Nickel City to 103 for Motor City. But as we've been saying, one jam, we've seen already in this game alone, a 25-point jam. That lead can decrease very quickly, so still anyone's game. And another jam kicks off.
Wonder Woman out on the track to jam, and it looks like Wicked Wench 12-17 going to do the honors for Durham Region. Fighting your way through, your lead jammer, one of the hardest working players out there tonight, wearing the 12-17 in purple for Durham Region. That is Wicked Wench. Huge spill coming through. Wicked Wench going down, and pile of players bowling down after. Wonder Woman fighting her way out of that cloud. Wonder Woman number 22 out there jamming, starting her helmet in black for Nickel City. And Wicked Wench furiously touching her hips to end that jam. Number 12-17 in purple.
So we just had a blocking out of play penalty going to Hip Check Liddell. What happens there is you'll see, we talked about you have to stay together as a pack. If you go a bit too far forward, you're allowed to break about 20 feet in front of the pack and still keep playing. The second you go further than that 20 feet, you have to stop blocking. If you hit the opposing jammer, you'll get a penalty. And that jam will actually be called off. It looks like the officials are still talking about whether it's the score, something that's going on. Looks like the Jam may have gone a little bit too early until they were actually finished what they were doing in their middle. So at any point, the officials can call a timeout, and kind of whether it is, like I said, figuring out the score, whether there was a concern on the track, they'll talk amongst themselves, and then the next Jam will continue. Now, we talked about 10 and 20 feet as well. You'll notice on the track, there are these marks. They're white marks. They're about 10-foot marks. So what happens is if you're a player and you see the pack, it's all together, and all of a sudden you want to keep fighting that opposing jammer, you can go about 20 feet before you have to stop. And what you'll see sometimes do is you'll see players take 10 feet each. So one player will move forward 10 feet, another player will go another forward 10 feet, and that'll stretch the pack out really, really far forward or really far backwards, depending on what kind of jammer you're facing. So as we talked about, that's another one of those strategic plays. Sometimes it's, how do I get through the pack as a jammer? What kind of strategies can I use? But sometimes as a blocker, how can I strategically stop the opposing jammers? It's a lot of mental going on, and it's so fast-paced. Sometimes you wonder how they do it, but they definitely do. Official timeout has ended. 5 seconds until the next jam begins.
Derby on Facebook. We got the Duchess of Carnage, 1331 out there to jam. Starter helmet in purple for the Durham region. Motor City Madness, 515. Toughest Bales in black doing the honors for Nickel City. Tough going through into that pack. It's a real mess out there. Rambo Bright got a piece of Toughest Bales, but fighting her way past Mozilla out there. Toughest Bales is your lead jammer. 515 in black for Nickel City. Mozilla is going to hit the penalty box, number 88 in purple for the Motor City Madams. The Duchess of Carnage, 1331, trying to catch that pack, but before she can, Toughest Bales sprints through and calls the jam.
And we had another forearm penalty happen in that jam as well, sending a player to the penalty box. And the players will sit in the penalty box for about 30 seconds, usually the amount of time that you take sitting down and being off the track. Now, if you're in the penalty box and I'm the jammer, we talked about how passing an opposing player's hips will give you a point. If you pass somebody in the penalty box, as soon as you get a point from anybody else, you get that penalty player as well.
101 out there to jam right now. In purple for Durham region. Trying to fight a wall out there. Mel Behave, number 56 in black, doing the honors for the city. Booty Boop and Tia Ironass managing to stop Spin Heli for enough time for Mel Behave, 56 in black, to be your lead jammer. We're going to go see some slick skating there. Spin Heli sent hard to the outside by Booty Boop. Booty Boop hitting a miss, but making the connection out there. That's Crush 101. Again, your lead jammer, 56 in black, getting knocked around by Ty Keela. That is Mel Behaved of the Nichols and Dames. Natitude is swinging a miss out there. Along with Karma Screwya, your lead jammer fighting her way through. Number 56, Mel Behaved for Nickel City. Looks like Karma Screwya is going to head to the penalty box. 252 in purple for Durham region. Mel Behaved hit hard into the benches, and she's going to call the jam while amongst her team. A lot of fight out there by Mel Behaved.
We see another direction of gameplay penalty. Once again, you cannot hit an opposing player going in the clockwise direction. We also saw Crush 101 from whoever the Motor City jammer was at the time. A little bit confused who was, took off their star to try to confuse the other players as to who the actual jammer was. Another strategy that you'll see players do as well.
Looks like Wicked Wench, 1217 out there to jam purple starter helmet. In fact, she is your lead jammer for the Durham Region Roller Derbies. Motor City Madams in purple, number 1217 is Wicked Wench. Out there jamming for Nickel City, 22, Wonder Woman in black. Wicked Wench, one skate through, gets past Hexadecimal, calls the jam. Let's hear for Wicked Wench on that one. There was some skillful skating right there.
And I figured out who that jammer was. It was 101. It was Spinelli, actually, from Motor City. There's 2 101s on the track on each team. Now, we did say that she took off her star to try to confuse the other blockers. However, you can't gain any points if that star's not on your helmet. So until that happens, no points are being scored. But once that star goes back on your helmet or you pass it, points will continue. Another jam kicking off.
Fight to the outside, immediately your lead jammer. She's been doing this all about. Number 2 in black for Nickel City. That is red hot. Duchess of Carnage, 1331 out there jamming in purple right now. After the star pass, but before she can catch that pack, red hot calls the jam. And there we had it, yet another star pass. As you've seen many times in this bout, the pivot can become the scoring player.
Once again, as we mentioned, another strategy, the hit it and quit it. You pretty much get through the pack as quickly as you can as the lead jammer, call off the jam. Only 4 points taken by the Nichols and Dames, but no points scored by Motor City. Sometimes just those 4 points is all you want to do is just stretch out your lead a bit. If you're just joining us, remember, keep your eye on these skaters with the stars on their helmet. For every opposing player they pass, they'll take a point for their team.
One crush to do the honors in black for Nickel City. Tykeela sent back in the pack. Remember, if you're the jammer and you're knocked off out of the pack, out of the track, you can't re-enter in a higher position. And it looks like Crush has passed the star. Your new jammer for Nickel City wearing the 77. It's the triple threat, Booty Boop. Booty fights her way through the inside, threads the needle coming through turn number 2. Tia Ironass, number 3, going to hit the penalty box for 30 seconds for Nickel City. Mel Behaved and Tykeela going down. Tykeela, 93, in purple out there jamming right now for Durham Region's Motor City Madams. Karma Screwya forced back to the pack. Tried her best there to stop Booty Boop. Booty Boop, number 77 out there jamming in black for Nickel City. And there we have it, another full jam out there. Let's have a hand for these players. It is hot and exhausting on the track.
And something else we might saw there, Nickel City did a star pass right off the bat. Jammer took her star off, passed it to a pivot. That means she cannot be lead jammer. Even though she was the first through, after a star pass, you cannot be the lead jammer. So actually, Motor City was able to take lead jam and call off the jam.
I believe that's Demolition in black for Nickel City. Wicked Wench up against a wall of black out there. She's going up against Hip Check Liddell. Wonder Woman's getting in on the action. And Demolition having her own hard time. Cherry Bomb among the players getting in there. We do finally have a lead jammer wearing the 12-17 in purple for Durham Region. It is Wicked Wench. And it looks like we have a star pass. Demolition has passed her star to Wonder Woman, but not soon enough. Calling that jam, Wicked Wench. That'll be a pickup for Durham Region. 115 on the board.
With about 4 minutes of play still in the second half, we did see that the Motor City jammer did call off the jam. However, she may not have gotten any points, but Nichols and Dames actually reversed that. Nichols and Dames calling off the jam, but we did have Motor City able to take 3 points, sneaking those in before the jam ended.
Jamming for Nickel City. Got a track cut called out there. And that's going to send Smash into the box. And it is a race among the jammers, and I believe it is Mozilla that got lead jammer out there, number 88 in purple for Durham Region. Or no, it was Red Hot. There we go. Normally the sashes are a little more identifiable on the referee's arms to tell you who's following who.
Each team there able to take 1 point. Actually, Motor City able to take 2 points for their team. Again, those little kind of quick, get as many points as you can, call off the jam, and avoid the other jammer getting any more points. We also saw, too, we talk about blockers hitting jammers. to make sure they get off the track, or jammers hitting blockers to get them out of the way. The jammers can also hit each other, so they will have to look out for every other player on the track.
Booty Boop is going to send Tykeela back in the pack. Tykeela 93 in purple out there to jam for Durham Region. We officially now have a lead jammer. Number 56 in black for Nickel City is Mel Behave. Mel Behave fighting through that pack, calling the jam on the far straightaway.
And Mel Behave from the Nichols and Dames able to take 4 points and increase their lead just a little bit. Sometimes that little bit is all the difference. And also, too, she did a little bit of a hop on the inside of the track to get past those blockers. If you ever see a jammer jump from one corner, an inside corner, to an inside corner, we call that an apex jump. And when you see it, it's beautiful. We might get one in. Still a minute and a half.
Cherry Bomb 0260 in purple doing the honors as the jammer star on her helmet. For Durham Region, it is Wonder Woman, number 22 in black for Nickel City. And trouble for Cherry Bomb. She's going to head to the box. We got a power jam, ladies and gentlemen. One jammer on the track, and she's the lone jammer and the lead jammer, number 22 in black for Nickel City Roller Derby's Nichols and Dames. It is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman threads a needle coming through turn number 2. Makes it look easy. She's your lead jammer. Hits and bites, Wicked Wench, Natitude, and Effin' Lucifer trying to get together. Big hit from Natitude on the straightaway on Wonder Woman number 22. Hits and bites, 11:01, and Wicked Wench trying to put the squeeze on. We got Effin' Lucifer doing a job of hitting Wonder Woman out of the track, and that's going to send Effin' Lucifer, number 666 in purple, to the box for Durham Region. Cherry Bomb fighting her way through the pack. 0260 back on the track out there jamming right now for Durham Region. And with a hit coming in there from Natitude, hitting her knees and calling the jam, that is Wonder Woman, and it looks like they're going to send Natitude to the penalty box. And that is it. The conclusion of our bout. They're going to confirm the score over there. But I think we can tell you right now, with the score that's showing, let's have a hand for tonight's victors for the season opener of Nickel City Roller Derby. Your home team, the Nickel City Roller Derby, Nichols and Dames. There's your final score.
You
Come on.
have it, a full 2 30-minute halves of flat track roller derby. Nickel City, Nichols and Dames, 250. The Motor City Madams with 116. A hard-fought game for both teams. And sometimes these scores are huge like that. Sometimes there's really small leads. But either way, what you just witnessed was a hard-fought battle. And all of these ladies deserve a well-deserved break afterwards. So I hope you enjoyed this amazing game of flat track roller derby. If you want to find out more about derby, whether it's how to play, there's men's leagues, there's women's leagues, there's junior leagues. You can be an official, you can be a volunteer. There are so many ways to take part in roller derby. For Nickel City and surrounding area, NCRD.ca is a great resource to check out. You definitely might think to yourself, I don't know if I can play roller derby. Trust me, if I can play roller derby, I had never skated until I started, and I have so much fun. You can as well, so definitely check it out. The teams are going to do their laps. Nickel City will do their victory lap, and we will have the end of the game. So, on behalf of myself, Mike Check, Cranky Pants, who was your on-track announcer, and the entire team at Nickel City Roller Derby, we want to thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed a full day of flat track roller derby.